You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning
Today we're going to
shift.
talk about some of these issues around
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Thanks for being with us. I'm glad to be with you. We are live on CKLU 96.7 FM as usual every weekday morning between 8:30 and between 7:30 and 8:30 a.m. And glad to be here with you. We know that we definitely got off to a bit of a weird start this morning as I'm a little bit late trying to get everything up and running. And it is what it is. Just trying to get all the videos queued up, and Facebook changed which side of the screen the videos come on when you play them, which I know it sounds like a small thing to everybody. But it makes it a little change will do a lot when I'm just basically operating, last minute, getting everything ready. It's just, I know where things are. I could do, then there's one little change and it makes it so it's not as easy to navigate anyways on the fly. So yeah, you're listening to Sudbury News Talk on CKLU 96.7 7 FM each morning, weekday morning. And we're also live on cklu.ca. Click on the Radio Player Canada app. You can listen to us by streaming it, by just clicking on it. You can also download that same Radio Player Canada app and take us with you and listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. And you could also watch the show live stream at facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow on both of those platforms, especially comment, though. I'll do my best to get your comments up on the screen for those watching, and for those just listening, I'll do my best to get the comments read. There comes a time, though, in the show where I'm not able to continue to read everyone's comments. I do try to check in on the comments just in case there is something that goes along with what we're talking about, or correcting something that I might have said that might have been, more accurate kind of thing. So I do look for those things. Not easy, though, while we're doing the show on the fly. So I do apologize if sometimes there's things that are said and you're wondering why, maybe they're not mentioned. It's just, it's hard to control all the 6 or 7 devices around me, along with delivering the show, along with monitoring things on the fly, and then actually delivering some information. It's not easy, but we do it. We're volunteer, basically. And so is the radio station that we're on. So if you are able to help keep the airwaves open, the lights on, the doors open to those volunteer hosts of shows to come in, you can definitely help out by making a donation at cklu.ca. You can buy the merch that we have there, some really cool merch, mugs, shirts, hats, those kinds of things. And if you like the show and you want to help support the show, there are costs involved in the show that basically it's a labor of love. It's a passion of mine. So I am footing the bill. It's I think between $400 and $500 a month. That's what I'm thinking. It seems to keep going up as I have to subscribe to different news outlets out there in order to be able to share news on this show. They only give you a little bit until you subscribe to them, and then you have to pay for those things. So I have many subscriptions. Even the technology that we're on right here is a monthly fee. The internet, the studio, the hardware. So anyways, if you want to support this show as well, you can just e-transfer to sudburynews@gmail.com, and that's always appreciated. I don't do this show for that at all. Even if nobody was to pitch in or whatever, I would still be doing it, much to the detriment of my wife. Sometimes, as we look at finances and things like that, is normal. That's just basically normal, right? So thanks for being with us this morning. We got a great show. We're going to start off with a little bit of weather. Not much to talk about in terms of sports. We'll dive right in with local news headlines and some deep dives today into some things on the state of the country and why things are the way they are. How do we make sense of the world we live in? Not only in Sudbury, right? Because lots of things happen here that we want to make sense of, but also in our world. But our country and our world seems to be taking similar. They're on a similar path, right? So they seem to be marching to the same drummer. So we want to make sense of that as well. So more of that. We're still on the lookout for our missing Ward 2 councillor, Michael Vagnini. As far as I know at this point, there's still no updates in that situation, but we'll still try and unpack some of the stuff there. And a little bit of the temperatures. A lot of people are talking about the temperatures that we have. And is it to do with global warming? Is this a sign because of this warm winter we've had? It's almost like we can't remember another warm winter in our lives. But we'll talk about that, try and unpack it, and much, much more. When we come back, we'll kick things off with the weather. Stay tuned. It's going to be a great show. And as usual, Sudbury Weather is brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. And currently it is minus 9 degrees, but it feels like minus 11 out there. It is clear, mainly sunny today. Wind, it's a non-factor, but the wind chill will be minus 10 this morning. Tonight, increasing cloudiness this evening at low of minus 2, wind chill near minus 6. Wednesday, a mix of sun and cloud, high of plus 3. Yes, high of plus 3. Wind chill will feel like minus 7 in the morning, however, and then it'll go up to plus 3 after that. So again, plus 3, mix of sun and cloud for tomorrow, your long range. Thursday, cloudy, plus 2. And then plus 5 on Friday, February the 9th. 60% chance of showers. And then on Saturday, there could be a mix of showers and flurries, 60%, low of minus 1, and low of minus 6, and a chance of flurries on Sunday, 40% chance, 30% chance of flurries. On Monday, high of minus 6, and that's your long range there. Look at your satellite. You see the clouds coming in from the west as usual. That clearing going away. I had a friend of mine send me a picture saying, I heard that you said on your show that you wanted people to prove that we had blue skies. And so they sent me a picture of blue skies, which I did mention that I was very skeptical that we would get any blue skies whatsoever. And we did get 2 days of blue skies. Unprecedented, by the way. Try and remember the last time you saw 2 days of blue skies before that. And then pay attention to the next time you're going to get 2 full days of blue skies. Anyways, that's just what I have to say, because it was almost like, see, told you, or something like that. Whereas it's an anomaly to get blue skies these days. That's the point. Sure, it happened, but now look at how rare of a thing that was. I was like daring the weather, prove that we can have at least even 1 day of blue skies, So the thing is, it's very rare to have a full day of blue skies anymore. Whereas in the recent past, like 10 years ago and on, I remember many, many days. You can have a whole week without a cloud in the sky, basically. But it's very rare these days. Anyways, that was my point. That's all there was to it. And we'll be back right after this. That's your Sudbury Weather brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. And we have quite a few people joining us this morning. We'd like to thank you for being here and appreciate you being on. As usual, Monique, good morning. Sudbury, and a sunshine smiley emoji. Judy, good morning. Denise, good morning. Sunshine smiley emoji. And even if it's not a sunshine emoji, I'm going to say it. It just sounds good to say sunshine, as we have experienced this weekend. Belinda, good morning. As usual, positive statement of the day. We're not on this earth to see through one another, but to see one another through. Beautiful. Thank you very much. We are here to see one another through. We're here to help each other, lend a helping hand, or help our neighbors, and treat others the way that we would want to be treated, right? I think is what they call the golden rule. And I appreciate that statement. Thank you, Belinda. Marianne, good morning from Barrie, liked and shared as usual. Thank you so much. Thanks for being on again. Monique, good morning, or good day, good people. Denise, good morning. Blessings from Espanola. Jerome, good morning. Sudbury News Hounds, exclamation point. So Belinda says, we're already impressed how much you're able to juggle. Well, thank you. Yes. And I just think, I don't know, I don't even know if I should be saying it when I'm struggling or whatever. I just mention it as I'm going. I'm a musician as well. And I know early on when I was in different bands starting out, someone would make a mistake in the band and the rest of the band would look at them going, why, what the heck, but the audience would never have known there was a mistake at all. And so if we just kept playing and who cares, then the audience is like, wait, something's wrong. Cause they're looking at the drummer or they're looking at the guitar player. But yeah, so I don't know why I even mention when things are kind of going on, but I do. But thanks for that. Chris, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, Maurice, good morning. Smiley emoji, thank you very much. And Jerome says, thank you. I guess, yeah, keeping with the music theme, right? Canada has become a nation of sheep, and that's what breeds a government of wolves. Whoa. Wow. That statement has an attack. It has a bite. Whoa. Got to read that again. Canada has become a nation of sheep, and that is what breeds a government of wolves. Now, this is the thing. Because I'm fascinated with the history of the United States mainly, I have many ancestors that were involved in the independence of the United States. I'm just coming to realize this now. I've been doing genealogy, and much to my surprise, the website I'm on, it's ancestry.ca and then also familysearch.org. And it can tell you who you're related to just quickly, like any prominent people or any people of note or any famous people, let's say. You just click on a link and then it'll tell you who you're related to and how. So you click on it and it shows the pedigree and the tree to show your common ancestor. So I share a common ancestor with two of the founding fathers and former presidents, the second president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, and I think it's the third or fourth, John Adams. They were two of the founding fathers. We share like the same 11th grandfather kind of thing. I know it is far away, but anyways, they lived a long time ago, right? So, and then there's others too that aren't they aren't as known, that they were involved in fighting for independence in the United States. And I've always wondered why I was so fascinated with being free and the idea of the individual and freedom and God-given rights and things like that. And it's just in my DNA. And I marvel at how other people aren't interested in these kinds of things. It boggles my mind. And so anyways, I'm also related to like 15 former presidents. I might have already said that. Some inventors like the Wright brothers, and and on and on. And some celebrities, Elvis, like I think a lot of people might be related to. John Wayne, for crying out loud. So it's really fascinating doing genealogy, first of all. But the reason why I'm saying all this is I find these videos of people now challenging the state of people's rights in the United States mainly, but also in Canada, where they might walk into a public premise with a camera, let's say, and they're recording, and the person there just says, "Hey, turn off your camera." And they say, well, no, I don't have to. And they say, well, yes, you do. I told you, you have to. And then it goes, and they're pretty similar, and they're similar themes, right? The Constitution and the Bill of Rights allow an individual in the United States in a public place. Basically, it's their place. It's a shared space. It says nothing about filming in the Constitution or the Bill of Rights, but at the same time, there are laws afterwards that are built on the same foundation that say if you're in a public place and you're a public employee, you can be photographed or filmed. You're a public employee. And then it also goes on to the police too. They're being paid by the public to protect the public. But they've, over time, it's like the frog in the pot kind of thing, as totalitarianism and communism has seeped in to our Western world. People don't realize we're living under a kind of transitional government where it's going towards communism, that we do have these foundational rights and they're written in law. And these people challenge it. And I was just watching one in Alaska where they went into the DMV. It's kind of like going to the MTO here to renew your license or whatever. And they're just filming, and the person says, "Stop filming," because there's private material in here. People have, information in here that we don't want being filmed. They're like, "I'm not going to film anybody's. I'm just filming my own experience in the DMV." And then they start pushing him around, start trying to take his camera, which is assault. And he's like, "No, I'm allowed. This is a public building. I'm part of the public." And then it starts a dispute within the DMV of one of the clients or customers starts saying, "Yeah, do what they say. They told you nicely to leave and you have to listen to them." And he's like, "No, I don't have to listen to them. They're not, this is a public place. I'm allowed to film. I didn't do anything wrong. They're telling me to leave for a reason that isn't justified." And so they called the police, and he says, "Good, the police will come so that they'll know," and then the police officer wasn't even informed of, the foundational laws of his own country, right? Because he's been so used to just invoking his own personal authority everywhere. It's like I was pulled over by police before I said, "Well, why are you detaining me?" He says, "Because I said," I said, "Well, what law are you detaining me under?" He goes, "My law." And they can actually get away with saying things like that these days. And so I'm fascinated with these types of videos, and that's all sparked by Leon's statement that Canada's become a nation of sheep that breed a government of wolves. Because if you allow things to happen, and so the one guy in that DMV was like all on the side of the DMV saying, "Come on, buddy, you're a loser. Get out of here. Like, you're disrupting everybody. They told you to leave nicely." And he goes, "No, they didn't. They're being very rude to me, actually. I'm being nice. And I'm just stating a fact. That's all." And another client piped up and said it's in his constitutional rights to do what he's doing. Like, we have no right to kick him out of here. And the guy's like, "Right on, brother. Like, you at least understand." And that's the thing. People aren't informed. They don't understand the law. They don't understand their rights. And we have in Canada right now, where it's gone to the federal court, the Emergencies Act that was invoked, the federal court has acknowledged the fact that people have rights. And the government had overreach there. They overstepped their bounds. And that's what they're going to do because they see a bunch of sheep and they're a bunch of wolves, like Leon's is saying, right? They'll step on you as much as you allow it, as much as you allow your rights to be taken away. It will happen if you allow it, right? Good morning. Oh, Sarah, you said good morning to you, Jerome. You opened the drapes and the weather looks good so far. Yeah, it is. It's going to get cloudy a little bit later, though, we know. Denise says, as long as parents keep sending their children to school with the LGBTQ2S plus agenda, I added that last part on there, I don't have much hope. And you speak of an agenda because there kind of is. There's activists out there, and activists have agendas, and the LGBTQ2S plus, they're not even really an organization, but there are organized efforts to be activists for the cause, and it does include the schools and education and agendas in the schools as we see currently here, right? So yes, parents and these activists and theories and things that are being taught to our children are now at the forefront of where we're at. And there is a struggle there of who's in charge. The state, the government, do they own your children? Or are parents' responsibility to raise their children, right? Do the state or the parents? Which one is in charge of your children, right? That's where we're at right now. Miles says 1994, there was a winter exactly like this one. Only 2 snowfalls in January, and all the snow was gone before the end of February. There you go. Exactly. We were talking about whether or not we've had a similar winter to this, because I just hear a lot of people saying, see, it's global warming. See, it's always interesting. Another thing there's so many things to talk about on this show that a lot of the fires that we've had last couple years, all these fires in the news, hundreds and hundreds of them are now being prosecuted as arson. They found the perpetrators, 14 fires. One person was charged with lighting 14 fires in Quebec alone, right? And then that never makes the news afterwards. It's only independent news that covers that. The mainstream news just says, oh, look at all the fires, climate change, and they move on to something else. And then it's up to the independent media to go, wait a minute here. Let's follow up on that story. Yeah, and tons and tons and tons of those fires were started by arsonists because it's easy to start a fire these days with our poor forest management and not cleaning things up and making sure that it's harder for fires to get out of control. Marianne says, blue skies right now, who knows, long before the gray clouds will start rolling in for sure. Yeah, we definitely love our blue skies. And good morning, Victor. Thanks for joining us. Denise, good morning, everyone. And I just want to get some good morning shout outs in here before we kind of roll along with our news headlines of the day. A little bit of a deep dive, hopefully, here. Yeah, for sure. Great comments. Keep them coming. Now, I'm saying Mikey on the show. If it's Mickey, I apologize, but I'm thinking it's Mikey. Good morning, Sudbury. Thanks for joining us. Much appreciated. And Liette as well from Collingwood joining us as usual. So thank you very much. And yes, keep the comments coming in. They're very good for everyone else who's part of the conversation. If I'm not able to read them, at least we will get them up on the screen. And that's a shout out to everybody. If you missed the show live, you can catch us later on youtube.com/Sudbury News, facebook.com/Sudbury News, Twitter or x.com/Sudbury News later, and Sudbury.news. You just go on the website, which is our aggregator, our news aggregator, and which aggregates all the local news into one spot. And you look for Sudbury News Talk, and you could watch the show there as well. Evelyn, good morning. I haven't recognized you yet, but you said people are charged out west with arson as well, except for one controlled burn in Banff that got out of control. Good morning, -8 in Mark's Day. Thanks for that. Yes. So many people, and thank you. I forget which viewer that's been sending me a lot of the news clips about the fires. Could be Jerome. I'm not sure. Again, I have to go back. And thank you so much, everyone, for sending me videos. It is so hard. There's so much going on in our world and what to focus on and when in a 45-minute, 50-minute span in this show. It is so hard to focus on everything because there's just one thing after another, day after day, and with different issues and things like that. It's just there's a 40-minute video yesterday. I was like, oh, we got to watch that on the show. It was a physician from the United States talking about how after the vaccines that deaths have gone through the roof with things that this doctor, through his research, was showing were caused by the vaccine. So vaccine injuries cause more deaths than COVID did. And even the COVID numbers were skewed, and he gives the reason why. So he's a numbers guy. So anyways, it's a 40-minute video. I wanted to just play that for everyone, and I just might at some point. Then there's other videos on other hot topics about the weather and climate and other related things. The open borders, how they're changing, our voting laws and things. Just crazy stuff. One after the CBC taking bonuses, even though they're laying off 600 people, and they're being questioned. And it's just insane. It's all insane what's going on. Our world is kind of unraveling before our eyes with things that just in the past, if there would have just been one of those things, it would have been in the news for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. So again, let's just check in on some of the headlines here from Sudbury.news. City's public art master plan proposes funding boost. The city of Greater Sudbury currently funds public art to the tune of $25,000 annually, which would be boosted to $125,000 by 2027 or $250,000, depending on the option City Council chooses. So that's what City Council is going to be talking about. How much of an increase in money the public art master plan funding plan will include. It goes currently $25,000. It could go up to $125,000 or $250,000 for public art in the city. Again, that just kind of goes in the face of when we're facing all of these social issues, and we see a lot of money going towards other things. I know a lot of people take exception with things like that, saying, really? Is that what we're focusing on? Children's Aid Society in Sudbury creates team for intimate partner violence cases. As we know, they just deemed intimate partner violence a crisis. And they had to do that because there's funding available for if you can decree that that's part of your community. There's now money available if you can do that. So here we go. The Children's Aid Society of the districts of Sudbury and Manitoulin has created a 4-person team dedicated to complex cases that involve intimate partner violence. See, there's the funding that came through, and now jobs are being created, and now there's going to be an industry around intimate partner violence. We don't want to find out what's causing it, because then it might stop. But as long as it's there and it's a crisis and there's tax money available to make jobs and make an industry out of it, it will never go away. Unfortunately. My opinion. Seniors are unclear on whether they can drop their private dental insurance for national plan, right? So here you have the new dental monies that are available through our federal government initiative, and they're trying to figure it out how it applies to seniors. The Bloom Festival returns to Sudbury, goes ahead March 9th and 10th. That's from Sudbury.com. News outlets, by the way, that I've been sharing, pretty much the Children's Aid story was from CBC. The art master plan story was from Sudbury.com. Just want to give shout outs to the various outlets that are posting these. The province funds Soo accessibility upgrades. Okay, no, that's not. I thought it was about the merging of the health units that I looked at last night. Parking rate rise at Sudbury's hospital. So badly in need of revenue. For the first time since 2016, Health Sciences North has raised its parking rates. Wow, it's badly in need of revenue. I thought it was a very busy place. I thought it was so busy that there's not even enough beds for people, but they're badly in need of revenue. Interesting model, wouldn't you say? If a business was overrun with customers that they couldn't even service enough customers and they were in bad need of revenue, you would think that maybe something's wrong with the model itself at the core. If you have an overabundance of customers and you don't have revenue, then how does that make sense at all, right? Interesting. But I guess the lottery that they have every month, isn't bringing in enough. It's at least $500,000 a month, the 50-50 draw they have. I mean, that's a lot of extra money for nothing really, right? Imagine if you could have a 50-50 draw because of your credit cards and stuff like that. You can have your own 50-50 draw and you made $500,000 a month and you still said you had to, you don't have enough money, And what did they do before the 50-50 draw? Like, that's a lot of extra money, if you ask me. What's happening with the money? And good morning, Debbie, by the way. Thanks for being with us. The midwinter mild weather in the winter kiboshes the ride for the Special Olympics. The police torch run to Wolf Mountain was slated for this Saturday, but is now canceled. That's from the Sudbury Star. You can read more about that, as we'll get back to some more weather news a little bit later. So here you go. Public health officials in Sudbury and Sioux areas are facing a big decision soon. Provincial government is encouraging health units to merge and have until February 20th to make a decision. And the Sioux says, no, we ain't going to do it. Sudbury says for sure. Well, Sudbury hasn't voted on it yet, City Council. But the chair of the committee, one of the city councilors said, basically we really don't have a decision in this. It's going to go ahead. It's just the earliest we vote on it in favor, we have more say in how it's going to go down, right? So merging of the public health here in Sudbury and with the Sioux, Algoma and Sudbury. It's like everything else these days. Everything's amalgamated, right? Save money. I don't know. Worse services. I can't see how services get any better when you amalgamate anything. So here's the top story that I've saved for now. 9 days, going on 10 now. No new information on missing counselor, Michael Vagnini. Now, just for whatever, I'm going to check out Facebook in real time. I'm going to go to Sudbury Police here, Sudbury Police, just to see. They had the last update they made was either Thursday or Friday last week. And that was the last that we saw here. So let's go to Sudbury's Police's Facebook page. Here's the top story. No new updates since last Thursday or Friday. They were like giving updates, daily, and they went up to 8 updates. Well, even a couple times in one day, they would give an update. And they were up to 8 updates altogether. And now, no more updates. So he's been missing for almost 10 days. It'll be 10 days this afternoon. Excuse me. The search for Ward 2 Councillor Michael Vagnini continues in Sudbury. There's no word on his fate, as reported Friday. Greater Sudbury Police, along with North Shore Search and Rescue, began conducting an active grid search in remote areas along Old Highway 17 and McCharles Lake Road and Panache Lake Road areas. So yesterday, the Greater Sudbury Police Services spokesperson, Caitlin Dunn, they told Sudbury.com the searches generated no new information. Based on the results of the OPP helicopter search, the ground search through our search and rescue team, and the North Shore Search and Rescue, no new information came to light in the search for Michael Vagnini, she said. So there's no new news. That's the news. And I'm perplexed about all of this. I just don't understand how this could happen, how somebody of, such high profile in this city has just vanished without any technology, that could be used to help find him. I know we talked about the idea, the technology of pinging someone's vehicle, and that's able to be done. But in speaking with Mike Perrant, who's Ward 5 councillor here in Sudbury City Council, he said the vehicle has to be on in order for that to happen. So, I guess, and I can see why, maybe they didn't act so quickly when he first went missing to utilize this technology, thinking that, well, he hasn't been missing all that long, so we're not really going to go out of our way, right? And that's normal. I could see that, right? So I guess we can assume his vehicle hasn't been running, at least since they tried to ping his vehicle. We don't even know if they tried to do that. It's not public, right? But that is something they could have done, was pinged his vehicle. He did not have his cell phone on him. He told the people after the rally on Saturday on Paris Street that his phone and computer were damaged in the hospital that he just self-discharged himself from. But then either his sister or his girlfriend said that they had his phone and that people were trying to contact him to not do so because he doesn't have his phone on him. So what he said and what is actually fact, why he said that, we don't know, right? But he did say that. We just don't know why he said that. He said he had some things happen in the hospital that displeased him, and so he self-discharged himself. And then those were some of the last words he ever said. And then I made a comment, in today's day and age, it's highly unlikely that you go anywhere without your cell phone. And then I had a few people come on and say, well, I like not having my cell phone sometimes and things. But I don't think that's the norm in today's day and age, is to go anywhere without your cell phone. That's not the norm. I know there's some people out there that choose not to have their cell phone on them for various reasons at various times, or may not even have a cell phone. That's very rare. But yeah, that's just kind of strange. There's some strange things here that need to be answered, and he's now been missing for going on 10 days. That's a long time. And yeah, we just hope and pray for his safe return. And the weather for the weekend for the search couldn't have been any better. You can't say in any way, shape, or form the weather was inhibiting the search, because it was about as beautiful of weather as you could possibly get any time of year, let alone in the winter. And yeah, so ouch. So we'll have more on that, and whenever news happens, I'll be sharing it on my Facebook page as soon as the second it comes out. Hopefully we have good news by tomorrow on the show. But in other news from Sudbury.com here, the headline is Sunday's temperature matched a record set in 1991. So it didn't break any records. So again, the sensationalist climate change people that, and there are some out there, and you might be one of them, that, everything is weather related. Everything you can blame in this world is blamed on climate change. Like our chief medical officer said that, one of the main reasons for COVID, or one of the health risks to Canada, was climate change, right? So we even get that into the medical discussions, that it's one of the reasons why we're not as healthy as we should be, because of climate change. Anyways, so it didn't break any records. It tied a record set in 1991, almost 30 years ago. The unusually warm and less than snowy winter we've been having is now on the record books. Okay. Sunday's high temperature of 6 degrees matched the previous record from February 4th, set in Greater Sudbury back in 1991. According to Environment Canada, the temperature also got up to 6 degrees on February the 4th, 1991. The low temperature record for Greater Sudbury for February 4th is minus 32, almost minus 33, which has been set back in 1970. So 20 years earlier than the record was made for the warmest temperature, we had the coldest temperature. Giving you an idea of the temperatures we could be seeing this time of year. So again, this particular author of this particular story in Sudbury.com, you can just tell the wording, what they're alluding to at the end, right? So it's giving you an idea of the temperatures we could be seeing this time of year, meaning, without saying it, that it's because of global warming, right? They don't have to say it, because they just kind of subtly put in there, like, yeah, we can start seeing these temperatures. If you really break that down, though, only 20 years earlier, it was minus 32. So if you take in all of the temperatures all together, I can think of some pretty darn cold days in the last couple of years that we've had, right? So it's not black and white like that, but I guess we just have to, the average temperature for February 4th in Greater Sudbury is minus 7.6. That's the average temperature, right? So there's another indicator that it's not that far off. So if you take what last year was on February 4th, it might make that average, right? I don't have that information with me right now, though. So it is what it is. Let's see here. We got a video that goes along with this. John Stossel, one of my favorite reporters. He used to be a staple on 60 Minutes. And I don't know where that... okay. Oh, yeah. I've been sharing a lot of videos with myself lately. Holy moly. So anyways, the video's back on the left side now. I guess only some videos go on the right side. But we can't do anything with the sound here as it's loading. It's taking forever to load. Here we go. John Stossel talking with an expert on Judith Curry, actually is her name. She is one of the foremost experts on the subject, speaking about climate change in general. And just to put some things in perspective, because Sudbury.com said this is something we could be looking at in the future, right? And it's true, we could be. And it's true, the temperatures of the world could be getting warmer, and more than likely they are. But is that just part of a larger cycle that the Earth has always been in? we've had several ice ages that we know of thousands of years ago. We've gone through many, many ice ages, right? So what does this all mean? Yeah, we'll be back. It's just a short clip. We'll be back right after this.
People are dying. The potential extinction of the human race. The planet's on fire.
The planet's on fire.
That's Bill Nye.
Okay. In terms of lives lost, I mean, over the past 100 years, the number of lives lost from extreme weather or droughts or whatever has dropped by 97%. It's a paltry sum.
97%. More people are living with slightly warmer temperatures.
Yeah. In terms of extreme weather, I mean, you have better infrastructure. The biggest thing is advance warning. Okay, in 1970, there was this really bad hurricane that struck Bangladesh. Estimated 500,000 people were killed.
Simply the worst of the many cyclones the 2 million people who live here have ever experienced.
And this is what precipitated East Pakistan splitting off from Pakistan. I mean, it was that event.
So that was a case of weather causing real changes.
Yeah, and another tropical cyclone of similar magnitude hit Bangladesh.
The super cyclone bringing torrential rain and 150-mile-an-hour winds.
3,000 people died.
And the difference was?
Better warnings. Okay, and people had advanced.
Which is much cheaper than trying to
I know,
re-engineer.
people were able to evacuate.
More than 600,000 people were evacuated.
Advance warning is affordable.
It's
a
really
fraction
cheap.
of the price
It's really
of what we're
cheap.
spending pretending to fight climate change.
Totally, totally.
Yeah, so I told you it's quick. Yeah, and here they come with their, yeah, of course, that's so stupid. The videos they play after, too.
Say like this party so far and all these
dumb.
people.
Anyways, I can't believe it. It's so funny. Not only they playing videos, the kind of videos they play right after, it just plays automatically. And then trying to get a video to play is like bizarre. So they have a mock whatever video making it look like it's someone having sex there. And then it's just going to be something, she's making soup or something. She's dicing a tomato or something like that. But just to make it as bizarre as possible coming onto the show right afterwards, it's crazy. So yeah, climate change, right? So you put it in perspective and there's many ways of looking at it. And for some reason, in our country, they seem to want to just simplify it and make it seem like, yeah, the climate is the way that it is because of man, and man needs to make tons of changes in order to make changes in the climate, which also is costing us as Canadians tons and tons and tons of money in terms of the climate carbon tax, if you will, the carbon tax, which they now want to change the name of it because I guess they did a survey and a lot of people, they don't like the carbon tax, which who would? And so they're like, well, you know what? Instead of stopping the carbon tax or doing something else to, satisfy the voice of the people, basically, that they're not in agreement with the carbon tax, one of the smallest populations in the world, overtaxing their people when China themselves are making, get this, at least 2 brand new coal plants in China every week. 2 brand new plants. Like they're becoming the strongest country in terms of their energy power due to this. So you have the country that has the strongest energy is the strongest. They have now arguably the largest gold reserves. They've been buying up all the gold, and Canada sold all of their gold as of 8 years ago? Remember listening to CBC, and they nonchalantly just said on the newscast, yeah, Canada just sold all of their gold reserves. And in other news, it's like, what? We don't have any more gold. Crazy. So we have no gold to stand on. We're shutting down we don't have any more natural gas production in Ontario. We're stopping that. They're stopping all the fossil fuels from being made. Coal's gone. You know what I mean? And when I say natural gas, coal is gone from Ontario for sure. And then they want to stop natural gas. They want to stop oil. They want to stop anything fossil fuel related. Good morning, Claire. Thanks for joining us. And then they want to tax us. But yet, the most populated countries in the world, China and India, are doing absolutely zero about climate change. If anything, they're going the other way. They're making coal plants. China's making 2 per week, at least that we know of. It could be even more. And they're getting a lot of energy from it, right? They're able to be a stronger country, sure. It's a farce, everybody. The climate narrative, the idea of climate changing is not a farce at all. Climate changes, weather changes. And John Stossel, with this expert, just made that point. There's a lot of people, more people living now with the temperature rising subtly. That's all it is. It's a subtle rise in temperature, but you have these alarmists out there saying everything's going to fall apart. Well, you're going to destroy the economy, which is something more to be alarmed about than the climate. Like, people need to eat. Food will grow more. There'll be more food grown with warmer temperatures. It is what it is. There's more. So what do plants eat? Plants thrive on carbon. They thrive on it. That's the hypocrisy in this whole, anyways, it's so ironic that they say carbon is the thing that's killing when carbon is the thing that's making the earth more green. Remember, everything used to be green, this, green, that. Go green, green, green. Yeah, well, carbon creates more green. It just does. So it's just a big farce. Anyways, and what are the reasons for this? It's all about shifting control of the world's power, taking away power from the West. It just is. That's the end result. That's where all these things lead back to. If you look at what is the end game, what is the end game? To depower the powerful and to give power to a rising power. That's it. No, you're done now, okay? And now it's your time in the sandbox kind of thing. And there's people behind this transition or change. And it's not just it's not Canadians. There are people in Canada who are co-opted by this movement, and they're moving that agenda forward. But it's coming from outside of Canada, right? So case in point here, coming from our friend from Alberta News and Views, they're changing the way that elections are going to be happening here in Canada. And where is this? There it is. Changing voting laws. I'll be quick on this one. Here we go. Okay, you can allow me to put the volume on now. Thank you.
The southern border in the United States and the border in the Great White North. There are direct parallels going on right now. Record amounts of immigration, huge destabilization, infiltration, you name it. It is terrible for Canada. It is terrible for America, for the United States, terrible for North America. Citizens are asking the big questions. Why? Why is this happening? Joe Biden is saying he needs a bill passed so he can close the border. That is obviously bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. He can close the border if he wants. Same with Justin Trudeau. They are allowing this to happen. Why? Why are they allowing this to happen? And Elon Musk has been saying big time the last few days, it is because of voters. They are going to turn all of these immigrants into registered voters. Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh are tanking in the polls. They're done. They will not win the next election. There is no way. So now they are exploring electoral reform. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But first, watch this. And you will see the parallels. It is unbelievable And everybody is screaming, close the border, close the border. This is an invasion. Why are you allowing this to happen? Because then it goes up a tick, because it can't be hidden anymore. There is deep, deep nefarious stuff going on. And it is only a matter of time, and a short amount of time, before the truth comes out and people say no. And the end result of this is complete collapse. Watch this.
That's not true. The New York City Council voted in December to allow this. It begins January 9, 2023. Cities in Vermont and Maryland already allow this, and similar measures are under consideration in Illinois, Maine, and Massachusetts right now.
If the gentleman will yield?
Yes.
I believe those are considerations of allowing votes in municipal elections only.
Right, but thank you. That's the point. Everybody wants to know at home, why would they allow this? Guys, they're allowing it because they're going to turn them into voters. They already are doing this in New York City, largest city in America, and this is the plan of our friends on this side to turn all the illegals into voters. That's it, folks. That's what's going on. That's the game. That's why the border's open. That's why they've dropped it. Look, I respect Ms. Lothgren and all her work in this arena. Yes, I'll yield, Mr. Chairman. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this.
As a New Yorker, I would love to think that New York is the entire country, but it is not. It is not, and consideration is being given to permitting non-citizens to vote in New York, and I believe in the capital city of Vermont. I forget which that is, but as much as I'd like to believe it, New York and Vermont are not the entire country.
But, Mr. Chairman, that's the whole point. This is what's going on, folks, at home. If you're trying to figure this out, if you're scratching your heads, you're seeing the video, you see droves of people, 2.4 million people coming over the border illegally, the president allowing, the Democrats in charge of Congress are allowing it. The deal is they're going to turn them into voters. You just heard it. They don't have any problem with that. They celebrate it. Here's the deal. We have a problem with it. The Constitution has a problem with it. American elections should be decided by American citizens.
And the same, and the same in Canada as well. That's what's going on. And they're looking at voter reform right now. We can have a little bit more on this video tomorrow. It's just our time is up, unfortunately, on the show today. Yeah, so we'll have more on this tomorrow. Searching for Ward Councillor Michael Vagnini of Ward 2, hoping and praying for his safe return. If you're able to hear this at all or be watching this, we're definitely want you back safe and sound. And so with that, have a great day, everybody. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow, God willing, on CKLU 96.7 FM. You can stay tuned for Earshot Daily, and have a wonderful Tuesday, everyone. And we'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.